For decades, the Alien franchise has terrified us with one of the most iconic creatures in cinema, the Xenomorph. But somewhere along the way, the story took a turn. Ridley Scott's prequels give us David, a synthetic android, a fallen angel, a twisted artist. And with him came a controversial idea that he, not the cosmos, created the perfect organism. Fans were divided. How could a man-made machine craft a predator that felt older than humanity itself? How could David's experiments explain the fossilized engineer in the original Alien chest burst thousands of years before he was even activated? This is where FX's Alien Earth comes in. Because if the clues are right, this series might finally fix the mistake, rewriting David's role, restoring the Xenomorph's ancient terror, and closing the biggest plot hole in the Alien saga. And today, I'm going to show you why I believe Alien Earth will reveal the truth. That David was never the father of the Xenomorph, only a thief of something far, far older. Now, let's set the record straight. David did not create the original Xenomorphs. What he did was something far more disturbing. He copied them. Using the engineer's black goo, a mutagen older than humanity itself, David began his experiments. He spliced, he hybridized, he weaponized. On Planet 4, he twisted neomorph strains with engineer biology, slowly shaping his own personal version of the alien. These creatures, known as protomorphs, weren't the real deal. They were imitations. Brutal, yes. Terrifying, absolutely, but they lacked the ancient mystery that surrounds the true xenomorph. Even the novelization of Alien Covenant makes it clear. David wasn't inventing the species, he was trying to replicate it. He saw himself as the artist, perfecting the design, but the canvas he was painting on wasn't his to begin with. In short, David was never the father of the xenomorph, he was only its plagiarist. And the universe of Alien has left us ancient clues proving the real creatures came long before him. So, if David didn't create the Xenomorphs, where did they really come from? The clues have been staring at us for decades. Go back to Ridley Scott's original Alien in 1979. On the derelict engineer ship, we see ancient stone reliefs carved into the walls, depictions of creatures that look eerily similar to the Xenomorph. And sitting in that pilot's chair, a fossilized engineer, long dead, his chest ripped open by a creature that hatched thousands of years before he was even activated. The lore doesn't stop there. Expanded universe comics and novels reveal cultures across the galaxy encountering these beasts in the distant past. Ancient civilizations, alien temples, and cryptic murals all pointing to one truth. The Xenomorphs existed long before humanity, long before David. These details weren't accidents. They were breadcrumbs left by the storytellers, reminders that the perfect organism wasn't born in a lab. It was unearthed, rediscovered, and feared across millennia. David thought he was a creator, but history shows he was only chasing shadows of something far, far older. And this is where FX's Alien Earth comes in, with one subtle but game-changing detail. In Episode 3, Morrows mentions that the eggs were taken from a faraway moon.
Find something on a faraway moon. Eggs.
He doesn't say its name outright, but fans know exactly what that means. He's talking about LV-426, Acheron, the very same moon where Hadley's Hope was built in Aliens 1986. Why is this so important? Because if eggs were already on LV-426 before Weyland-Yutani established the colony, it proves beyond doubt that David wasn't their creator. The nightmare was waiting there, buried long before he ever set foot in the galaxy's dark corners. Alien Earth is quietly stitching together the missing thread, showing us how those eggs found their way onto Acheron. This isn't David's invention. This is history catching up, reminding us that humanity was only trespassing on an ancient horror that had been lying in wait for centuries. If Alien Earth is right, and those eggs were on LV-426 long before David, then the ripple effects stretch across the entire franchise. First, it restores the original terror of Alien 1979. That derelict ship wasn't part of David's twisted lab work. It was a relic, a crash site holding a secret that predates humanity itself. Second, it clears up one of the most divisive plot holes in Prometheus and Covenant. Fans never fully bought the idea that David, a synthetic created by humans, could invent the ultimate predator. Alien Earth flips that back, showing David as a tinkerer, not a god. And finally, it reshapes Weyland-Yutani's obsession. They're not chasing the experiments of one rogue android, they're chasing an ancient, unstoppable species, a nightmare older than human civilization. The company's greed suddenly feels even darker because now we know they were willing to risk humanity for something they could never control. What's brilliant about Alien Earth is how it doesn't just patch up continuity, it honors the classics. Remember the space jockey in Alien 1979, fossilized in his chair with his chest burst open? For decades, fans wondered, if David made the Xenomorphs, how could that scene even exist? Now the answer is simple. The terror was already ancient. Callbacks like this bring the story full circle. Aliens 1986 gave us Acheron, Hadley's hope, and the Queen's hive, but never explained how the eggs got there. With Morrows' hint about a faraway moon, Alien Earth is setting the stage to connect those dots without rewriting history. And let's not forget the black goo. In Prometheus, it was a riddle. In Covenant, it became David's tool. But if we now understand it as the engineer's weapon, predating David, the whole puzzle pieces together. It's not about retconning the past, it's about weaving a tighter, scarier universe, one where the old mysteries finally get their answers. And that's the beauty of it. Alien Earth isn't giving us a new monster, it's bringing back the old one, the original nightmare, the creature that haunted Ripley, tore apart Hadley's hope, and left scars on the very fabric of sci-fi horror. David may have played God in his lab, but the real God was always the xenomorph itself, timeless, ancient, unstoppable. And Alien Earth is about to wake it up. I am looking forward to the remaining episodes. Tell me what you would love to see in the episodes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm out.